Hey everyone, it's Deli here. Welcome to a brand new speed build challenge. Today I'm actually making a speed build for 8 Sims, and I've only got the money that the game has given me to use. So this house, when it's done, it's going to be ready for 8 Sims to move into without any money cheats, and I've just placed it on a lot in Willow Creek. So yeah, basically there's no money cheats here. There's no expensive furniture going into this. This is a budget family build. And I did a similar kind of challenge, I think last year maybe at some point. I did another 8 sim build that you guys seem to enjoy. And you know, sometimes you just feel like having a go at doing gameplay with a full household of 8 Sims, but you also want to play the game by the rules without any cheats. So this is how you can do it, you guys. You can download this build. It's under my username Deligracy on the Sims 4 gallery. Just make sure in your filtering options you have showing custom content, because my builds are always flagged for having custom content when they do not have custom content. And I have actually been reading comments from you guys saying that there are ways to get around this, but it's kind of annoying. You have to, I think, disable all of your custom content and mods and restart your computer to upload it, which is a bit of a pain in the butt. So I just upload it, and yeah, you guys just need to make sure that you have show lots of custom content on if you search for my downloads. So yeah. Basically, we are doing all of the cheapo furniture. We have the cheapest counters. We have the second cheapest fridge, because I could not go ahead and put in the ugly looking fridge that's like got dirt on it. I just didn't want that fridge, you guys. So we went for the slightly more expensive fridge, but everything's pretty affordable. Stoves, sinks. It's a good house to upgrade over time, because of course when you get cheaper furnishing items, then you're going to have items that break a lot more because their reliability and quality isn't as good as the more expensive items in the game. So that's a little bit annoying, but you know what? Sometimes you gotta be on a budget, and that's what you gotta do. That's what you gotta work with. So that's what we're working with today. The build style, I wanted it to be very simple, number one, because I was building this within half an hour. I think I went 5 minutes over time, so I think it took me 35 minutes. So I was actually working very quickly. This is only sped up by like 250% maybe. So yeah, it's not sped up by that much, and yeah, I was just working quickly. So I feel like doing plain modern builds is what I am able to create the quickest. So that's why I did that, because it just requires less details. And I think at the end, when you see the screenshots, I think you'll like it. Like, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I decided from the very beginning to have black accents to kind of unify the build, so we can see this in the rug, in the dining table, in the kitchen countertops. And also some of the wallpaper. Now, there's a lot of white wallpaper. Can't even talk. There's a lot of white wallpaper around. And I know some of you guys are probably thinking, ew. Don't worry, we're going to be fixing up the wallpaper towards the end of the build, but I'm definitely doing the kind of build that I sometimes do, whereby I will focus on what furniture I'm putting in first, as opposed to building the actual walls. So I'll just, usually when I'm on a budget, start placing cheaper beds and cheaper bedside tables, and just kind of see what I can get away with in terms of using the most limited space possible. So that's why we're doing that. This room is for 2 teen girls. We're going with a green palette, pretty simple. And I also wanted to keep this build nice and simple, so if you guys download it, it's easy for you guys to do your gameplay in. It's not too overwhelming. And it's easy to change up as well. Like, you can just click on the different items and change up the swatches ever so slightly, because the color scheme's already really simple. So it just keeps it nice and easy, as opposed to making a whole heap of mismatched items look like they're unified. That can be a little bit more tricky. In this room, I wanted to have a teenage boy and a kid boy in there. So you can see I've got a little family outside that I made in Creator Sim. And yeah, so they're sharing a room. So I decided to put like a little toy box in there. We also have a toddler girl sim sharing with a child sim. So I was just figuring out which kid bed and toddler bed had similar swatches and colorways. So that's going to be more of like a blue room, because those two beds kind of go together. You know, they're both blue with lighter colors, so I think it kind of works. And can you guys imagine being brought up in a family with 8 people in the house? I mean, I know some of you guys watching would have been brought up in big families because we have all sorts of similes watching at the moment. So I'm so sure some of you guys have grown up in houses with a lot of people. For me, it was just my sister and mum. My parents divorced when I was about 11 years old. So before that, I did live with my dad as well, but then it was just the 3 of us for a lot of my life. So I'm not used to having heaps of people in one house. But then I have friends who have lots of siblings, who have shared rooms with siblings, and it's always been like a very busy household. So let me know in the comments down below if you have grown up in a home with lots of siblings or lots of people in the house, whether they're siblings or half siblings or whoever. My mum grew up with 4 other siblings, which, you know, wasn't too crazy back in the day where a lot of people had like 10 kids. That wasn't that uncommon, I don't think. But my mum's family, her parents were kind of known as the family who took in a lot of kids who, for whatever reason, couldn't live with their own families. So they always had other people's kids staying with them. So there was like 4 kids plus random other kids. So it was kind of a house that my grandparents ran with the idea that everyone is welcome and they'll take care of as many young people as they need to, and, you know, cook and feed them and make them comfortable. So yeah, that's how my mom grew up. So I guess she grew up with a lot of people as well. Whereas my dad didn't have any siblings. It was just him and his mom. His mom was actually from Czech Republic or Czechoslovakia back then, because she fled from the war at that point. So right now I am giving you guys a whole spiel and storyline about my own family, which you guys probably didn't expect when you clicked on this video, but I always find it interesting to hear about other people's families, so I guess that's why I'm telling you. So yeah, everyone grows up so differently. Right now we're doing some of the roofing. I was just trying to figure out how that's gonna work. There is also no windows at this point. We will have windows. I just knew that I wanted to try and get all of the main items in, main floor plan in, and use minimal windows because we did have a budget to keep an eye on. And there was a little bit of budget to put a nice little door out the back of the master bedroom so you can go outside to the little back patio area. And I was trying to figure out, you know, how's this roofing going to work? Could we add some glass roofing in just to bring a little bit of light into the house? I think it does look like a cheap home. You know how there's homes that you can obviously get built using cheaper options? I feel like it definitely looks like a house kind of like that. That's a deliberate thing. I didn't want it to look like it was super old or super well lived in. It's kind of more those budget new houses. And yeah, I mean, it works with The Sims, that storyline, because it is a budget build. Sometimes when the roofing doesn't really match up very well, I will just use half walls and kind of draw around the roof area and then fill it in with the roofing texture. Because sometimes if you have too many diagonal roofs going on, it just looks like a hot mess. So that kind of centers it in the middle, I think, around the entrance. Visually, it just looks a little bit better. And now we get to put in the windows, so it's finally actually looking like a proper house. And I have to say, I love glass behind stoves. One of my friends, Sarah, she recently renovated her house, and they have such a beautiful kitchen that they managed to create with glass behind the stovetop. And I always thought maybe that was a bad thing, like maybe the heat could break the glass, or maybe the glass would get stained or dirty from the cooking. But apparently you can have glass behind a stovetop, and it looks great too. So I quite liked that. There's something nice about being able to cook whilst looking outside. It's just a nice thing to do, I think. And a lot of kitchens are on walls that have what's it called? Splashbacks, stone, brick. So when you have a kitchen that looks outside, it's kind of like, oh, that's nice. That's different. I also haven't done that many builds recently, so it's kind of fun to do just a little build challenge just to kind of get back into the groove of things. Sometimes if you do a speed challenge, it's just like, yes, I have to think really quickly and just bang it all out. And yeah, I feel like it gets me like back into the building mode again after being away. So hopefully we have some more like refined builds coming up. I'm always up for suggestions. I've been getting a lot of suggestions to build Jeffree Star's house, which I could do. I feel like we could build a house for a sim Jeffree Star that's not necessarily exactly like his house that he lives in. Or do you guys want to see like pretty much the house that he lives in, or inspired by that? I'm curious to hear, because I would rather probably build something that's just for him, maybe slightly inspired by his existing home, because that's always a little bit of fun. So the blue room, again, we don't have a whole lot of objects in these rooms because we don't have a whole lot of money to use. So I'm not going to be putting heaps of toys in. I'm not going to be putting lots of paintings in or lighting, just because we are working within this budget. And I think we do an okay job. Like sometimes if you can't afford to put paintings on the walls, you can actually use the wall paint to create, you know, just a single panel of a different color, which we're using in this room. This room, I kind of hated the colors. The other room, the blue and the orange, I was just like, I don't know. It's I kind of like it and I kind of hate it. It's a love-hate relationship. So I think we do end up getting rid of the blue. I don't know, it kind of works. And then the girls' room is pretty like blue and purple, kind of typical kids' room. Very stereotypical, actually. Not overly tasteful, but it's a fun room. It's a colorful room. And then I wanted to use some of these wall textures with the wood on them, just because I think they actually look quite modern, and maybe I went a little bit overboard with it. Maybe there is too much wood inside the house and I should have left some blank walls. But while I was rushing within these time constraints, it's just what I did. If I was going back to refine it, I may have done it a little bit differently. But I think it works. And I think the black framing around the windows and doors contrasts really nicely to the white wood walls and tie in with all of the black accents. It just comes together. So hopefully you guys will be able to find this build useful in some of your gameplay, especially if you're working on a budget. And then for this wall, I was like, I don't know what painting to put there. And then I just put just a random painting and then random skateboards. I'm like, maybe one of the kids painted them or something. And you know what? I just realized I did not put a bin in the kitchen. Dang it. Whenever I do a speed challenge, I'm always forgetting something. I just get too caught up in the build. So yes, if you download this, I would say that you probably would like a bin in here. There's also 2 bathrooms, because with 8 sims, it's just a nightmare to use 1 bathroom. Even 2 bathrooms is pretty difficult to use with 8 sims. So there is 2 bathrooms. They just have basic showers, basin, and toilet. No time for toilet paper even. And then this is the finished look. So it's very simple. Just a budget home. Just a budget home for a little family of 8 sims. And here's my family just wandering around in it, checking it out and having a look around. And by the way, I love that Sims outfit of some new custom content I got with like the jumper tucked into that midi skirt. Love it. I kind of want that outfit myself. I do want that outfit myself. When you aspire to look like your sim, that is something that I've experienced many times in my life and for years for now. So yeah, we're done. We're done, you guys. Download it if you would like to. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And I hope you guys are having an awesome weekend. And I hope we have a good week upcoming with some good videos that you guys will enjoy. Anyway, I hope you are having a lovely morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are in the world. And as always, I can't wait to speak to you all soon. So, dag dag.